In these uncertain economic times, you've got to do whatever you can to save money. One of our biggest expenses can be our cars, especially when unexpected repair bills hit. Not anymore. If you own a vehicle with less than 130,000 miles, is less than 12 years old, has a warranty about to expire, or even no warranty at all, you could stop paying for car repairs. Roadside assistance, towing, and rental coverage are all included. Don't wait for the next repair. Make one free call right now to see if you qualify. If your vehicle is less than 12 years old, has less than 130,000 miles, even if it's out of warranty, paying for car repairs can become a thing of the past. Call us right now and get your car protected before your next repair bill hits. Get protection and no more repair bills. Call 800-696-1030. Again, 800-696-1030. That's 800-696-1030. 800-696-1030.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
All writers are prone to becoming so attached to our characters and stories that we struggle to see why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing to full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, shaping stories into masterpieces that can stand the test of time. Editing services are provided for all genres and all age categories. Services range from critiques of the short story through to line edits of the full-length novel and copy editing for those preparing for publication. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your website, as well as help with those book blurbs and promotional material. We won't abandon you to the masses. We want to celebrate with you and your successes. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services and prices, visit us at blackwolfeditorial.com.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-610-9050. That's 800-610-9050. 800-610-9050.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it, there to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 $3 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Is debt beating you down? You need discipline. You need the Debt Ninja. If you've been caught in a financial trap and need to be set free, then you need the Debt Ninja. Want to stop those harassing collection calls, start saving thousands in interest and fees, and get out of debt fast? Then you need to call the Debt Ninja. The Debt Ninja will find the best companies across the country that will help you consolidate all your bills into one easy payment, reduce your payments by 30 to 50%, and get you out of debt fast. If you have unsecured debt of $10,000 or more, such as credit cards, loans, or medical bills, call the Debt Ninja for a free 15-minute consultation.
Call 800-826-1246. 800-826-1246. That's 800-826-1246. Call today.
The Debt Ninja.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network. Radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? America Off the Rails has been declared a conservatives-only safe zone. Only conservatives allowed from this point forward. Any liberal, socialist, butthurt, hippie, tree huggers, please exit the facility immediately. Again, attention please. America Off the Rails is now designated as a conservative safe zone only. All butthurt, tree-hugging, hippie, free-to-be, you and me types exit the facility immediately. Thank you.
We will keep this promise to the American people. If you like your doctor, you will be able to keep your doctor, period. If you like your health care plan, you will be able to keep your health care plan, period.
This is the most transparent administration in history. Not even a smidgen of corruption.
Fact is, we had 4 dead Americans. What difference at this point does it make?
If you got a business, you didn't build that.
Oh, welcome to the face. Welcome to the face of the new democracy. Don't expect us to admit a mistake. We're paying off election.
Keep on doing what you do, Rick. You're my favorite host.
It's time to hear the truth about America's biggest challenges. You're listening to America Off the Rails with your host, Rick Robinson.
All right, folks. Well, happy hump day. That's right. We've made it. It's just a few minutes past the hour right here in beautiful downtown Oklahoma City, and it is the day before Friday Eve. Now, for those of you who were hanging out with me and Ann last night, you'd heard me mention that I'm going to be doing a 2-part episode on the Hillary Clinton campaign. I had initially planned on talking about that beginning tonight, but then I had a thought, because Jen and I are going to be live tomorrow night before I do my show alone. I didn't want the content to be similar, even with Ann last night, the things that we were discussing were similar to the things that I discussed with my co-host on the Jen and Rick show. So I want to try to make sure these shows are as distinct as possible. So I'm going to start planning out the episodes for this show a little bit differently. This one was not entirely planned, but it's just one of those things that happened. It's been an interesting day for me. For those of you who don't know, this is still mostly a labor of love for me. I do have a day job. I wound up having to take the day off from the day job because I was in a car accident recently and had to get checked out by the doctor. Needless to say, after 4 hours of being poked, prodded, x-rayed, and used as a posable Ken doll, I've figured out I really don't have much of a future as a posable Ken doll, And it was kind of painful, I'm just saying. For those of you who don't know that much about me, I'm not going to go into my whole sordid life story again on the air tonight. You can find bits and pieces of it sparsed out throughout the archived episodes and get enough of a picture of some of the things that I've gone through. But needless to say, I had an X-ray tech who shall remain nameless, or at least her real name will never be mentioned, but from this point forward, she will henceforth and ever be known as the X-ray tech Ratchet. Yes, it's a reference to Nurse Ratchet. Come on, look it up, you'll get it. But anyway, so I thought I'd open the show with a little bit about that, only because, I don't really talk about myself that much, and every once in a while, I used to get negative feedback from the old station owner about doing that. But I think, honestly, me taking at least a few minutes every so often to tell you a little bit about me and what makes me tick is as important as the time that I want to hear those things from you guys. So that's one of the reasons why I always encourage you to reach out via email or Twitter or whatever way you're comfortable so that I can get to know the folks that are listening to the show, and I want you to get to know me as well. So now that I have been given a little more freedom, now that we're on the new platform, klrnradio.com, it's not going to happen every show. It's probably not even going to happen every week because I don't necessarily like talking about myself. But I want you guys to know who I am, why I do this, and what I stand for. And some of that is because of a few things and what I stand for. And some of that is in part because of some of the things that I've been through, different things that I've seen throughout life, and things to me that are important. And so, and you can't really understand that without getting the whole picture. So every once in a while we're going to take a few minutes here and there and talk a little bit about me, and that'll probably be about the gist of it tonight. Now again, as you remember when I talked about the whole really wanting to start talking about Hillary Clinton, because look, I know, folks, that I talk a lot about Donald Trump, and she's just as much of a target as he is. But the thing with that is, every time I say, okay, we've talked enough about this guy, it's really time to take a look at the other side of the coin, because that's what they are at this point. They're two halves of the same coin. But every time I think it's time, hey, we really need to take a second and start focusing on the other catastrophe, the news cycle goes a little bit like this.
Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in.
I mean, seriously, have you been listening to what has been going on over the last few days? Every time I think it's time to just let it go. Every time I think, okay, we can focus on Hillary now for a while. Every time, and I'm really starting to think he's doing it by design. It's the reason why I keep bringing it up, because I know there are some of you that are starting to notice the veneer is cracking. You're seeing that he's not who he pretends to be, and I know you are out there, because you interact with me every day on social media. Most of the time I feel like the guy that's preaching to the choir, but every once in a while, one of you will say, I didn't see it until now. You're the ones I'm trying to reach, because it's not too late. Okay, so maybe for this cycle it is, but it's not too late for you to realize that there's another choice. There are other decisions that we can make. It's why I spend so much time talking about the Libertarian Party. And look, don't get me wrong, no different than when I was a Republican. There are things with the Libertarian Party that I don't agree with either. But what I do agree with is the American people need choices. They need options. They need what they were born with, which is freedom. Even if they immigrated here from another country, followed the process, took the oath of citizenship, they were then given the same rights as you and I. But what I'm slowly discovering with the Republican Party is they don't care about that. They talk about illegal immigration like it's the big deal, and it is. Illegal immigration is wrong. We have laws for a reason. Those laws should be enforced. If we don't like those laws, we should change them. But there is a process to change them. And no matter what the 55-minute generation thinks, and that's what I call everybody now, because thanks to I'm sorry. I guess now it's, the 42-minute generation? Because you get about 18 minutes of commercials now for every hour of TV. So yeah, if your problems aren't solved within 42 minutes or less, it wasn't a problem to begin with, or something's broken. And that's how this generation looks at things. Look, Congress is designed to move slowly. It is designed to work like molasses. And there's a method to that, whether anybody wants to admit it or not. Congress is not a quick fix. It's not. That's not what it's designed to be. It's designed to move slowly and work slowly to make sure that people and their reactions are not happening in haste, anger, etc. So everyone who tells you on a daily basis Congress is not working, that's not true. They may not be working in the way that you want them to, and there may be things that you wish they were doing differently, but if you look, they really have accomplished quite a lot in one house or the other. Now, granted, it's not always possible to get the two houses to cooperate with one another, especially when there's a dichotomy there, or one house is controlled by the other, or you have a president like we have right now who refuses to work with anybody who isn't aligned with his political beliefs and is not mindful of his legacy. I mean, for God's sake, we have Barack Hussein Obama talking about dealing with the Trans-Pacific Partnership during his lame duck session. It is a rather common occurrence that lame duck presidents really don't try to do much because the will of the people could be subverted at that point, because at this point he's nearly out of office. It's also been a rather long-standing practice that Supreme Court justices aren't typically appointed in lame duck sessions. Now, there are exceptions. I'm not telling you it's always been that way and it's always going to be that way. But the simple fact of the matter is there are both traditions and laws about the way our country is governed, and it's common practice to follow those traditions, unless, of course, you are someone who thinks those traditions are completely lame, wrong, and stupid, and you want to use the Constitution as birdcage liner. And that's what we're seeing play out right now. At the same time, Obama, to me, they're interchangeable. We have original Obama and vanilla Obama, so they are definitely about one and the same. So to me, there is absolutely no difference between the two. There really isn't. But President Obama is talking about how unfit for the office Donald Trump is. And while I agree that he's unfit for the office, I don't agree with the fact that President Obama is thinking about trying to find ways to work through TPP during his lame duck session. That's wrong, in my opinion, especially when the majority of the American people seem to be opposed to TPP. And I know this because we got really involved with TPP when we were over on K98 Talk, because I didn't know anything about it. Well, JD and Stacy were having some folks on that were pretty heavily involved in the fight against both TPA and TPP, and I was so appalled by what I heard that we spent weeks, if not months, broadcasting commercials, pointing people back to the episodes, trying to make them understand exactly what was going on, because there were things happening that nobody was really talking about, that nobody understood. And that's the point that I've been trying to get across to everyone for the past several months. When we're focused on one thing, the government is doing another. It's been a common practice for quite some time. You know, I've never really talked about this on air before. Well, maybe once, but it's been a very long time. As you know, President Ronald Reagan actually happens to be a hero of mine. But one of the things that I didn't really come to terms with until much later in life, because I didn't understand it because I was a child, was his actual tacit involvement in the drug war. And it's there, folks. The proof is out there. I know this because I watched a movie, and you'll have to forgive me. The one thing the steroid shots seem to have done is relieve my pain, but they're also not working really well on my memory, and this was not something that I'd scripted to talk about. So I can't remember the name of the movie for the moment. But at the very end of the movie, one of the things that they talked about was how the proof of the government's involvement in a lot of the drug smuggling was released to the public during the end of the Clinton campaign, the Clinton presidency, the second term. And it was around the same time that the Clinton presidency lobbed a bunch of missiles at an aspirin factory, apparently on the surface to try to distract from the Monica Lewinsky incident. But I find it rather coincidental, and as a reminder, I don't believe in those, that he threw missiles at an aspirin factory not only to shield information or try to block information about himself, but at the same time the media was putting out things that might have been damaging to the history of the Reagan presidency. And again, this isn't an easy thing for me to talk about because Reagan is a hero of mine. I look up to him. We've had some of the things that he said throughout history, and a lot of our openings. They don't always stay there, but we usually find a way to work them back in because he is a hero of mine. And look, I'm not a grade school kid, and I'm not a saint, so I understand not everyone is perfect, and I understand if you look into it, the reasons why he felt he did what he had to do. But the simple fact of the matter is, one of the things that this election cycle has taught me, and it's shown me very deeply, is that in a lot of ways, we have been getting played by the political class for a very, very long time. I had hoped that this election cycle would be the time that we could put up someone who was a constitutional conservative, who believed the same way that you and I do. And by you and I know that most of the people that listen to this show now are not Trump supporters. I know there are a few of you that listen, but usually you listen so you can ridicule me later or send me crazy messages, and you know who I'm talking to. I'm not going to mention any names. But the simple fact of the matter is, in some ways, we have been getting played for a very, very long time. And again, I thought this would be the cycle that might finally assuage some of those fears of mine, because I've talked about this over and over again, and this is going to go back to my early 20s, before I'd really started figuring out who I was and what I wanted to do, and shortly after incidents that I've talked about before that put my life on a completely different path and one that I wasn't expecting. But during that time frame, I played a lot of video games because there really wasn't too much else that I could do. One of them that I played was a game called Deus Ex. And at this point, I may be running some time together, but I remember that the game was put out on the original Xbox. And the interesting thing about that game was it was kind of like a video game version of a Choose Your Own Adventure book, if you guys remember those, where basically you got to go through and you got to make decisions, and those decisions that you made actually changed the outcome of the game while you were playing. But the thing is, once you played it all the way through, you found out that no matter which side you were playing for, all along you had picked up the cause you believed in, you'd fought for it, you'd bled for it, you'd die for it, respawn, and try again. But it didn't matter, because behind the scenes it was the same group of people pulling the strings in both groups, because they knew by human nature people had to have the illusion of choice. They knew they had to have an ability to make what they thought was their own decision, when in reality the decision didn't matter. That's what I'm saying. In some ways, I've seen this same thing playing out in real life for years, and I didn't want to admit it to myself. And even when I thought I had started to see it, I thought maybe that we were catching it early enough that maybe we could do something about it. But for the last several election cycles, we have had an illusion of choice. This time it's not an illusion. There's not a choice. At least not between the two brands, the two main brands. They have literally become flip sides of the same coin, and nobody noticed. Nobody noticed. Or they noticed and they didn't care, because there have been some very disturbing things going on today that I plan on touching on during this show as well. We are actually getting pretty close to break time already, believe it or not. I guess I went on a little bit too long of a diatribe. So let's get to some of the smaller topics that I have lined out for today. Now, some of you may not have heard about this. We're going all the way back to Monday's episode for about a minute or so. And this was out of Reuters. U.S. presidential candidate Donald Trump on Monday fired senior advisor Ed Brookover, two sources close to the campaign said. Sources didn't say why Brookover was fired. A statement from the Trump campaign confirmed Brookover had left. The campaign has parted ways with Ed, but we're thankful to him for his many contributions and appreciate his continued support, the Trump campaign said in a statement. Now, the reason I backed all the way up to Monday is because now we have a lot of things coming out on Wednesday. A statement from A former Republican congressman said Wednesday that Donald Trump's nomination was a mistake of historic proportions for the Republican Party. Vin Weber, who represented Minnesota in the House of Representatives for 12 years and worked closely with Newt Gingrich, told CNBC on Wednesday that he would not vote for Trump in November. Gingrich is supporting Trump and was considered a frontrunner to be his running mate. Now, the former senator goes back and continues to say that he won't vote for Trump. He said, I can't even imagine remaining a Republican if he becomes president. Well, I beat you there, sir. I actually left the party months before he won't become president because he's not going to be able to beat her. That's the thing that nobody's understanding. And his campaign is in full meltdown mode. Even Reince Priebus, of all people, is looking at him going, guys, kind of think we messed up here. I'm not sure how we get out of it, but I'm pretty sure we screwed the pooch, guys. I don't know how to fix this. I don't know what we walked into. This guy is insane. I mean, look, I'm not going to give it too much credence because I hadn't been able to find anywhere where he's actually quoted as saying it, and it's coming from Joe Scarborough of all people. But apparently, an unconfirmed source said that Donald Trump has asked repeatedly why, if we have nuclear weapons, why we can't... No, nuclear. Okay, yeah, I think I said it right. Dang you, GW. Ever since I heard you say that word, I always have to second-guess myself to see if I'm saying it the proper way or the Texan way. I'm just never sure till I open my mouth. All right, so I think I said it right. If I didn't, forgive me. But... okay, so anyway... He's reportedly asking if we have nuclear weapons, why can't we use them? Now, again, I don't know if this is true, and it's coming from Joe Scarborough. I mean, the fact that I'm even saying the guy's name makes me nauseous. Come on, everybody knows who he is. He's the token Republican. He's the guy over on NBC or MSNBC or MSPMS or whatever the heck you call that particular station that likes to say that he's a Republican. But if this is true, it's crazy. And the sad thing is, look, even if it's not true, look at all the people that believe it just because of how crazy he behaves. I mean, is it really that much of a stretch that a guy who wants to crush all of his enemies and crush anyone who opposes him would want to know why we don't use our nuclear weapons? Just in case you have... actually said that, Donald. Can I call you Donald? It's because we're not knucking futs. Really that simple. We are not knucking futs. All right, so we're going to go ahead and take the break a little bit early. That gives us more of the bottom of the hour when we come back. But at this point, we are going to go ahead and have to take a break, pay some couple bills, and do what we do. Speaking of paying bills, since I have a couple minutes here, I do want to remind you of something, because we didn't do this much on the other station, because again, I wasn't really allowed to. Look, folks, we are trying to make the transition to being a fully commercially funded radio station, and so are all of our shows, but we're not there yet. So what I want you to do, if you haven't been there yet, I want you to go to klrnradio.com. And I want you to check out the site for one. And I want you to give a big shout out to our resident webmaster who has requested to remain nameless. But you know who they are. A lot of you do, that if you're affiliated with the station. But they have requested that we not mention them on air and just refer to them as webmaster. And Master is right. If you have been with us for a while, you know that due to issues with the former management, I, as the general manager of K98 Talk, actually put together a secondary website so that we could continue to operate because of issues with the original site. As far as I'm concerned, this new site is miles above either one of them, and I do encourage you to check it out as often as possible. I also wanted to let you know one thing that we are doing a little bit differently here, because it is still, like I said, it is still a labor of love. We are doing everything we can to transition to being able to get it to at least be commercially funded well enough to cover our expenses. I mean, none of us have any real illusions that we're going to be the next Rush Limbaugh's or the next Sean Hannity's, because at this point, why would anybody want to do that anyway. But we do want to do this and be able to do it well enough that we're not having to kill ourselves to get it done. And we know that there are plenty of you out there that love the content. You like it. You like what we do. And all we ask is that if you love us as much as we love you, give us $1 or $2 until we can turn that corner. There's a donate button on almost every single page. So go to klrnradio.com and go ahead and click that donate button. No amount is too small. No amount is too big. We will take whatever you are willing to give us in what we hope you would consider a love offering for the time that we take out of our schedules to pay you back for the time that you take out of your schedules to listen to us. Because without you, we couldn't do what we're doing. I mean, trust me, I could. I can talk to myself for hours. Just ask my wife. But it's not as much fun. And knowing that there are so many of you out there that love what we do and listen to the shows makes it that much better. So just help us keep doing what we do. And even $1 here and there would definitely help. We have hundreds of thousands of fans along all social media. If each of you would just donate $1, we would have full funding for a year, and we could do what we do and not have to worry about whether or not we're going to be able to keep going. Because trust me, this stuff. I mean, you may not know, and I'm not trying to build it up to be more than it is, but this is not free and it's not cheap. We love what we do, so we're going to keep doing it regardless. But we would love to be able to make sure that we could do it without having to cut a vein to keep it going. Some of us would, actually, most of us have. But we don't want to. Anyway, I'm done begging for money. We'll be back in a minute, folks. Sorry, I'm not good at the panhandling thing, and that's kind of what that reminds me of. But it's an important thing to make you understand that we do love this, and we love you, and we want to keep doing it as long as we can. So click that donate button. Kick us a couple bucks here and there. Life's good. You get to keep listening to your favorite shows. I'll be right back.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
All writers are prone to becoming so attached to our characters and stories that we struggle to see why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing to full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, shaping stories into masterpieces that can stand the test of time. Editing services are provided for all genres and all age categories. Services range from critiques of the short story through to the line edits of the full-length novel and copy editing for those preparing for publication. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites, as well as help with those book blurbs and promotional material. We won't abandon you to the masses. We want to celebrate with you and your successes. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services and prices, visit us at blackwolfeditorial.com.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-610-9050. That's 800-610-9050. 800-610-9050.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it. There to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
All right, folks, we are back. We are live, already into the last half of the show. My, oh my, where does the time go? All right, so we've been talking about a lot of the breaking news, breaking stories of the day. Now, I'm going to change gears here in just a second, but I want to touch on one thing that I didn't get a chance to get to before the end, because, you know, we've been talking about the politicians, and I've got one last story about that. But then I want you to understand something. There has been a media wing to the Trump campaign that we've never really seen before. And these people have gone full in. I mean, I'm talking completely sold their souls. I mean, maybe not literally, but from those of us looking at it from the outside, that's exactly what it looks like. That's exactly what we see. We see folks like Rush Limbaugh, Sean Hannity, Laura Ingraham completely going in for the Trump phenomenon and doing things that we never thought that conservative radio hosts and conservative media types would do. You know, who knew when they were talking about, in some ways, you know, because every election cycle, when we lose, they say it. We've got to become more like the Democrats, because the Democrats know how to make sure that a campaign message gets out, that the party unifies, that they do this, they do that, they do social media better than we do, they understand so many things better than we do, and we need to be more like them. I didn't realize when they were referring to that, they were referring to their hive mind mentality as well. Because I remember that being a Republican, being a conservative, being someone who understands what freedom is, what it means, what the price of it is. Folks, freedom is not free. And when we allow them to take it from us, inch by inch, centimeter by centimeter, millimeter by millimeter, when we willingly give it up, we are spitting on everyone who has laid down their life from the Founding Fathers forward. That's what we're doing. And this election cycle is doing that in ways that I never thought I would ever see in this country. The Republican Party has a full-on propaganda arm in swing. And I know that the left has been saying that about the Republican Party for a long time. But the simple fact of the matter is, I've never seen it like this. Maybe I was naive to it. Maybe I didn't see it yet because it just wasn't quite bad enough for it to finally wake me up and say, what? I mean, dude, I'm waiting for either Rod Serling or Forrest Whitaker, depending on whether it's the remake or not, to be doing the Twilight Zone soliloquy off in a corner somewhere, because this is completely insane. I mean, we've got Reince Priebus of all people, the milquetoast of the Republican National Committee, basically saying, I think we may have made a mistake here, fellas. I mean, and it gets worse. We've got this, we've got here, and the hits for Trump keep coming fast and furious now, with new reports of panic and internal turmoil popping up almost hourly. It'd be one thing if the establishment, which has boosted and protected Trump in the face of conservative critics, were sinking a shiv into Trump's back with anonymous quotes and leaks to the press. That could be explained away as sour grapes or pro-Hillary sabotage by people whose power structure is threatened by Mr. Trump's glorious revolution. But many of the quotes and moves witnessed over the last 24 hours are coming from inside the GOP nominee's trusted circle. These are loyalists who are invested in his success, yet who have taken to public fretting about a feared slow-motion implosion. As I write this morning, if you're rooting for Trump, he seriously needs to improve quickly, but don't take my word for it. Via NBC News, key Republicans close to Donald Trump's orbit are plotting an intervention with the candidate after a disastrous 48 hours led some influential voices in the party to question whether Trump can stay at the top of the Republican ticket without catastrophic consequences. So you guys are just now starting to figure this out? Those of us that are rank and file, not you elitist guys up there at the top like Hannity, Limbaugh, Savage, everybody else, except for Levin. Levin was on that track, and somehow, against all odds, he woke up. Maybe it's the Jewish heritage, because he started seeing things that I never thought I was going to see from the Republican Party. You know, everybody's always told me for years that the Republican Party and the Democratic Party changed places, and that the Republican Party was actually now the racist, and I'm like, no. Everybody that I talk to that's within the Republican rank and file are like, everybody should be free, everybody should be treated the same way, and that's just the way it ought to be. And that's pretty much the way a lot of us think. At least I thought. And then we started seeing all of these things come out about the Jews and the alt-right and everybody else. And all of a sudden, the only person that's waking up to any of this has been Mark Levin. Even Michael Savage, when the Inquirer story started coming out, was like, I'm not so sure if I can keep doing this. And yet he's still pretty much right on board the Trump train. But the whole point is, I really thought that whether it was Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump, we were getting Obama 2.0. I can honestly tell you tonight, I made a mistake. Nope, again, not jumping on the Trump train. Don't get your hopes up for those of you that listen that are Trumpers, and don't turn it off for those of you who listen that aren't. We're not just getting Obama 2.0 from Hillary or Obama 2.0 from Trump. We now basically get a choice between Obama 2.0 or Crazy Uncle Joe 2.0, better known as his crazy cousin It. Dude, I mean, they're already putting out political cartoons with the establishment standing behind Trump, and he's on the Silence of the Lambs restraints with the Silence of the Lambs mask on. That's the same way that Republicans used to make fun of Crazy Uncle Joe. But now he's on our side, so we've got to back him, right? You know, isn't that how this is supposed to work? Party before country? Unless it's in regards to Mr. Duke, then it's principles before party. So it's funny how that works. When someone completely disagrees with everything that you stand for, it's okay for you to stand up. Unless it's Donald Trump. But now even Reince Priebus is looking at this going, guys, Republican National Committee Chairman Reince Priebus has been increasingly alarmed by the erratic behavior of the party's presidential nominee, Donald Trump, and has communicated his concerns to Trump campaign leadership in a series of tense conversations over the past 2 weeks, according to sources familiar with the back and forth. The New York Times reported Tuesday that the RNC chairman Rancid Priebus, as I like to call him, is furious that Donald Trump is refusing to endorse Paul Ryan, a close friend and longtime political ally. The Times report is accurate, but Priebus was frustrated with Trump and his campaign long before Trump's cheeky comments balking on supporting Ryan. The RNC chairman has expressed his frustrations repeatedly in recent days on a variety of issues, including Trump's reckless comments about potential Russian influence in the U.S. elections and Trump's aggressive handling of the parents of Army Captain Umayyan Khan. Now, let's not forget, he was basically the guy that, look, I get it. They were standing up on your declared enemy stage for this election cycle. But let's not forget, this isn't battle to the death. That's what this is supposed to be about. These are supposed to be bloodless exchanges of power, dominated by the will of the people, but yet still tempered to make sure that we aren't doing something stupid. That's what our election cycles are supposed to be. That's what they've been since they were created. Now, they get raucous, and sometimes they get a little worse than even we've seen this time in some ways, and never worse than we've seen this time in a lot of other ways. But this whole, they were standing up on Hillary's stage, so I had to take them apart because they were standing in front of me talking bad about me. I had to take them apart. That's exactly what these folks are afraid of, because he doesn't, and I've been saying this for 9 months, he doesn't have an off switch. It's not there. He doesn't know when to stop. Something changed fundamentally with Donald Trump, because if you look at Donald Trump in the early years, he was meek, he was well-spoken, he was polite, and then he became all hail Lord Cheesy Poof, the reality TV star, and he figured out that the best, easiest way for him to get attention is to act as outlandishly as possible. Now, look, I honestly don't know if he believes 89% of what he says. Honestly, don't know if he means 89% of what he says. That's why I can't support him, because, look, all politicians lie. You know how many times, and it's a true statement. I'm sure that if we really started looking, we could find every single politician, while they've been alive, has lied about something. But the point is, do you know how many times I've heard that about Donald Trump now? And you know what chaps me about that? Because he was supposed to be the non-politician politician. He's the regular Joe like me and you, except he's worth billions of dollars. He's the regular Joe like me and you, except he's never really done an honest, real labor day's work in his life, so he can't be a regular Joe like me and you. He can pretend he is, he can talk like he is, and he can talk tough, but it doesn't change the fact that he is what he is. A spoiled brat born with a silver spoon in his mouth, who was looking for a way to find the power that he still didn't have, and is ill-prepared to use it because he doesn't like himself. Look, when someone spends the majority of their time lashing out and attacking everyone that attacks them, and fixates on everyone that attacks them all the time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, it doesn't have anything to do with the people that are attacking him. It has everything to do with he has a deep-seated dislike of himself. And it shows every single day. Today, Rush Limbaugh was celebrating and salivating because a true conservative in Kansas was defeated in primary today because he took a stand on principle and said, look, guys, you can vote for whoever you want, but I cannot be the man to support Trump. It won't be me. And that guy lost in a primary. Now, look, I'm not whining because he lost. The people in Kansas made a decision. I don't think they made the right decision. But what I am upset about is someone who has supposedly always been this standing bastion for conservative values is reveling in the fact that a fellow conservative was cut off at the knees by a Trump supporter who was running against him in a primary. What happened to country before party? What happened to values before party? What happened to principles before party? That's what the GOP used to stand for. They don't stand for anything anymore. They bend over and they take it, and they take it, and they take it, and the scariest thing is a lot of them apparently like it. And yes, I drew that visual on purpose. I'm sorry if it offends you. I'm sorry if it upsets you. But the simple fact of the matter is we have all been getting played. Whether you're a Democrat, whether you're a Republican, whether you're an independent, and yes, whether you're a libertarian, because the rules are stacked against us too. If you don't believe me, look at what they're doing with Gary Johnson in the debate numbers, because everybody keeps saying, oh, Gary Johnson's just got to get to 15%. No, Gary Johnson has to get to 15% in 5 separate polls, not necessarily consecutive and chosen by the Rules Committee, and he doesn't even have to be a part of those polls for those numbers to count. Now, you tell me this system, the one thing that I will admit that Donald Trump has said all along is this system is rigged. But what he's not telling you, folks, is let's not forget he spoke to Bill Clinton before he decided to run. That wasn't to offer an apology. It wasn't to say, hey, I'm sorry, man, I know that you and Hillary really wanted another shot at the White House, but I feel like I've got to do this because Barack Obama has done a lot of crazy things, and I just think that I'm the guy to fix it. You and I both know that if we were a fly on that wall, that would not be how that conversation went. Everyone wants to think it is, but that's not how that conversation went. We have been played. This has been orchestrated. And they keep doing it. They've done it the last 3 cycles. And we keep falling for it because we have this Pavlovian response to our elections. We have, oh my God, I'm a Republican. Where's my red banner? Oh, McCain's our final choice? Yeah, I'm not really that. I'm not so sure on that guy, but hey, Republican, red banner. Got it. Somebody say Republican? Where's my banner? Time to vote. Got to go pull the lever. Republican. So they're putting up Barack. Hey, wait. That guy really done anything? Did he do anything when he was senator? Did he do anything when he was senator in Chicago? I'm not sure if he's the best choice. Oh, wait, Democrat. Oh, somebody said Democrat. Where's my blue banner? Got to go run off the vote. It's how it's happened for the last 3 cycles. Romney. We got played by Romney. Do you not understand? Do you not understand? He had Obama dead to rights in the second debate. Candy Crowley tried to bail him out and made it worse. They pointed the American people to a blatant lie that the Romney campaign could have exploited, and they didn't. When I, as the station manager of K98 Talk, reached out to the Romney party for comment, or the Romney team for comment, I received an anonymous email reply that was basically generic that said, at this time, the Romney campaign feels that the only way that we will be able to become president and do it in a way that we feel garners the respect of the American people, that we will not press the issue with the lies that were revealed in that second debate because we're not sure if anything is there. And presidential candidate, Mitt Romney, has decided that he's going to take the high road and not press the issue. Translation, we got pwned. Look, you tell me there wasn't something going on behind the scenes. You saw Barack Obama's face during that first debate in Colorado. Pot wasn't legal there then yet. So he wasn't stoned, at least not legally. He literally thought he was done. He phoned it in, he walked up there, gave a lackluster performance because he thought he was done. Something changed. And we got played. And it's happened again, and nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody wants to talk about why. Nobody wants to talk about how we fix it. We're just dutifully picking up our banners. Look, folks, I don't want to be the banner carrier anymore. I don't care if it's for the Democrats, the Republicans, Libertarians, whoever. What I want to do is give you the option to be able to make actual choices that matter, not choices that don't matter, because behind the scenes, they're all connected to the same damn people. And that's where we are right now. Now, I'd planned on going into a lot more stuff tonight, but we've kind of run out of time. We're getting pretty close to the end, so I want to kind of speed up a little bit to get through a couple of things that I was going to talk about today. We have, again, Rush Limbaugh celebrating the fact that a Republican was defeated in primary who was actually a conservative. We have Laura Ingraham talking about the fact that the future of the Republican Party is a national populist type party. If that's the case, you can all have it. I don't want to ever do anything with it again. But at this point, we have another problem or another thing that makes it seem like this is completely Twilight Zone. This is from out of Washington. 2 Senate Democrats are calling on Texas Senator Ted Cruz to investigate whether Donald Trump violated U.S. law by asking Russia to find Hillary Clinton's deleted emails. In a letter released Tuesday, Senate Judiciary Committee members Chris Coons of Delaware and Sheldon Whitehouse of Rhode Island blasted Trump's statement as dangerous and irresponsible. They want Cruz, a Trump rival and chairman of the Senate Judiciary Subcommittee, to hold a hearing to determine whether Trump's request for foreign inquiries and entries or foreign entities to conduct cyber attacks on political opponents broke existing laws. Mr. Trump's encouragement of Russian cyber incursions of a U.S. presidential candidate represents an unprecedented call for a foreign government to spy on a U.S. citizen and interfere with a U.S. election, they wrote. Trump's comments, they said, potentially threaten the country's interests and violate a host of laws, including the Logan and Espionage Act. What's more, Mr. Trump has invited foreign interference with the presidential election, which we believe should be carefully guarded against under U.S. law. What if the way you look and analyze it... Well, actually, I think that was something else. That was the end of that one. Sorry, I had a lot of different notes jotted down for the evening because I knew that there was going to be a lot of things that we were going to talk about. I may actually put together a special episode over the weekend to finish this off because there were lots of other things that I wanted to touch on and want to expound on. But as promised, because I do everything I can to keep my word. Tomorrow, I promise, we are going to talk about Hillary Clinton, all of the different news that's coming out about her, and who knows, it may become kind of a thing where a couple nights of the week we talk about the news with Trump, a couple of nights a week we talk about the news with Hillary, and here and there we throw in libertarian stuff when we can find it, and find time for the guests to come on, and anything else that I think you might find interesting. But the simple fact of the matter here is, folks, we have been played. Don't take my word for it. Start doing the digging on your own. We have been played because they keep expecting you to do the dutiful thing and align with whichever party you align with, pick up your banner, march off to war, and that'll be who you vote for. And look, I'm not telling any of you who to vote for. If you can look yourself in the mirror and say Trump is the guy that I think can save us, then pull that lever. If you can look at yourself in the eye, mirror, look yourself in the eye, and say I'm with her, then pull that lever. I'm the last one to tell you who to vote for. What I am trying to tell you to do is to start thinking for yourself. That's what the Republican Party used to stand for. The freedom to think, the freedom to learn, the freedom to grow, the freedom to understand, the freedom to be who you want to be. We have lost sight of so many things in this country because we have inch by inch, piece by piece, bit by bit, traded parts of our freedom for what we thought were security, and now we have neither. Which is exactly what they warned us would happen. Because you can't have one without the other. And we're not secure. Why do you think Donald Trump has pandered to all this fear talking about building a physical wall? And then when he browbeat everybody into talking about the physical wall and how it's probably not going to happen, and even if it does happen, it won't happen in the way they're talking about now, it doesn't matter because now that he's gotten everybody's attention with it and he spouted all the rhetoric, now he's telling everybody, oh, well, you know, that wall was pretty much virtual, guys. Sorry to tell you. Just saying. All right, so on this note, folks, we are out. This has been the America Off the Rails show. I am your host, Rick Robinson. I'll be back with you live for 2 hours tomorrow night. First on the Jen and Rick show at 9 Eastern, back on America Off the Rails at 10 Eastern, right here on our new flagship station, KLRNradio.com. If you're listening to us live, stay tuned for the Rhino Report. If you're listening to us elsewhere, check your local listings. Great new content coming there, too. Big shout out, Red Nation Rising Radio, Liberty Channel, and AMFM247.com.